Imagine a young, vibrant woman full of dreams and plans, setting off on a quick trip with her boyfriend. Both are filled with hope and excitement for a little adventure. But what should have been an unforgettable outing turns into one of the most intriguing and terrifying disappearance cases in history. Tanya Van Kenborg and Jay Cook never returned home. This story isn't just about a disappearance. It's about the deep mystery and painful revelations that followed. Tanya Van Kenborg and Jay Cook were excited about their short trip to Seattle. On the morning of November 18, 1987, they boarded Jay's van, a worn but reliable blue vehicle, and headed for the first ferry to Port Angeles. Tanya, with her long wavy brown hair and bright blue eyes, was full of enthusiasm. Jay, a robust young man with an easy smile, couldn't wait to spend more time with Tanya. The couple had plans to save money, so they decided to sleep in the van instead of booking a hotel. However, this innocent decision would turn into a nightmare. When they arrived in Seattle, everything seemed normal. They stopped at a small store to buy snacks, where a friendly clerk remembered a pleasant conversation they had about the beautiful scenery in the area. However, there was a strange man in the back of the store, wearing a brown coat and a cold stare that followed the couple's every move. He seemed almost invisible, but his suspicious behavior did not go unnoticed by the clerk, who found it odd that the man left immediately after the couple. As day turned into night, Jay and Tanya decided to park the van in a secluded spot near the forest to rest. They snuggled into their sleeping bags, unaware that danger was lurking. In the middle of the night, a metallic noise woke them up. Jay got up, only to be confronted by the man in the brown coat, now armed. At gunpoint, the couple was forced into the dark forest. Their hearts pounded, but hope of escape still pulsed within them. When Tanya and Jay didn't return as planned, their families immediately felt something was wrong. Tanya's father, a middle-aged man with graying hair and a perpetually worried expression, picked up the phone and called Jay's family. Time seemed to drag on as they waited for any news. Desperate, the parents decided to start their own search. First, they checked with the supplier in Seattle, who confirmed that the couple never showed up to pick up the part. The anxiety grew when Tanya's father hired a helicopter to fly over the route their children would have taken. The dense forests below seemed to hide all secrets. Days passed without any leads, but hope did not abandon them. They distributed flyers with photos of the smiling couple, describing every possible detail in the hope that someone would recognize them. Finally, the police began to take the case seriously. The disappearance of Jay and Tanya could no longer be ignored. Investigators began gathering information, but the lack of concrete evidence made each step a challenge. The family's desperation was palpable, and each passing day without news increased their sense of helplessness. They clung to the hope that somehow Tanya and Jay would come home safe and sound. 5 days after the disappearance, a man walking in the woods found something that would change everything. Under a tree, partially covered by fallen leaves, lay the body of a young woman. Horror gripped him as he called the police. Officers arrived quickly and soon identified the victim as Tanya Van Kenborg. Her clothes were disheveled, her hands bound with zip ties. A gunshot to the head indicated a cold execution. Signs of sexual assault. The devastating news hit Tanya's parents like a physical blow. The pain of loss was unbearable. The police intensified the investigation, now with a renewed sense of urgency. They knew Jay was still missing and needed to find him, alive or dead. Searches focused on the area where Tanya's body was found, but the dense vegetation made every step difficult. Inside the abandoned van in Bellingham, the scene was chaotic. Objects scattered, blood on surfaces, and several important clues. There were receipts that could help map the couple's route, a ferry ticket confirming their arrival in Seattle, but the most disturbing item was missing: Tanya's camera. The police believed the killer had taken it as a trophy. With the killer's DNA in the blood and semen samples, they had a vital clue but still didn't know to whom it belonged. As the search for Tanya's killer continued, the priority was to find Jay. It was hoped he was alive, perhaps hiding or trapped somewhere. However, hopes quickly faded when a group of friends hunting near a river found another body. The body was severely bruised, and after a brief analysis, it was identified as Jay Cook. He had been strangled, a brutal death that reflected the killer's cruelty. Investigators now had 2 crime scenes and a strong suspicion that the same man was behind both murders. They began interviewing everyone who might have seen the couple or any suspicious person nearby. Reports of a man in a brown coat began to surface, but no one could provide enough details to identify the suspect. With the killer's DNA in hand, the police faced the challenge of identifying a faceless man. They explored all available databases, but time was against them. The FBI still didn't have an extensive DNA database, and every lead seemed to lead to a dead end. Meanwhile, terror spread among local residents, who feared the killer could be at large, ready to strike again. The atmosphere of fear and uncertainty hung over the community, leaving everyone in a constant state of alert. With Jay and Tanya's case unsolved, a new twist occurred. Just before Christmas 1987, the young couple's families began receiving mysterious letters. The senders claimed to be the killer and described disturbing details of the crimes. The letters were meticulously written, with an almost childlike handwriting, and the macabre details contained within were precise enough to convince investigators that the sender might actually be the killer. Detectives, now working with the FBI, traced the origin of the letters, which came from different cities across the United States. This pattern indicated that the sender was constantly on the move, making capture difficult. The letters continued to arrive at regular intervals, often on significant dates like holidays, increasing the family's pain. The police used the letters to keep the case alive in the media, hoping public attention would bring new leads. But time passed, and the letters were the only tangible link to the killer. Frustration grew among investigators, who felt increasingly pressured to solve the case. Each letter received was a painful reminder of the criminal's impunity and the injustice suffered by Jay and Tanya. Years passed without significant progress. The case of Tanya and Jay was shelved, becoming just another in the long history of unsolved cases. In 2003, a new investigator took over the case and decided to revisit all the evidence, including the letters and DNA samples. DNA technology had advanced significantly, and now it was possible to analyze the samples with greater precision. The killer's DNA was entered into the new FBI database, but no immediate match was found. However, the investigator, determined to solve the case, decided to use a new technique: genetic genealogy. They worked with experts to trace the family tree of distant relatives of the killer, leading them to a possible suspect, William Taunt. Taunt was a former truck driver who had lived in various cities over the years, matching the locations from which the letters were sent. The police began to discreetly monitor him and eventually obtained a DNA sample from a discarded coffee cup. The match was perfect. William Taunt was the killer they had been searching for more than 3 decades. Recently unsealed documents have revealed crucial new evidence against William Talbot II, convicted for the murders of Jay Cook and Tanya Van Queilenborg. Talbot's DNA was found on a zip tie used to bind Tanya. The discovery of Talbot's DNA on the zip ties solidified the prosecution's case, confirming his involvement in the murders. The discovery of the zip ties with Talbot's DNA traces back to the grim scenes of the crimes. Similar zip ties were found at 3 different locations, indicating the meticulous method of the killer. One zip tie in the van contained DNA from 3 people: Talbot, Van Queilenborg, and an unidentified third woman. This new evidence, unsealed after the conviction, further confirmed Talbot's guilt, making it clear that his participation in the murders was undeniable. The detection of Talbot's DNA on the zip ties was a crucial breakthrough for justice. Lisa Collins, the crime lab supervisor, revisited old notes on a previous DNA test that, while initially inconclusive, proved decisive with new technologies. The discovery reinforced confidence in the justice system and the power of modern forensic science. In May 2018, the police arrested William Tallot at his home in the suburbs of Seattle. During interrogation, Tallot denied any involvement in the murders, but the evidence against him was overwhelming. The trial began in early 2019 and attracted significant media attention. The defense tried to argue that the DNA found could have resulted from a consensual encounter between Tallot and Tanya, but the prosecution presented a strong case. In addition to the DNA, Tallot's fingerprints were found in Jay's van, and an old friend testified that he had seen a similar van at Tallot's house at the time of the murders. The jury deliberated for only a few hours before finding Tallot guilty of double homicide. He was sentenced to 2 life terms without the possibility of parole. Tallot's conviction brought bittersweet relief to the families of Jay and Tanya. Although nothing could bring the young couple back, knowing the killer was finally behind bars offered some comfort. The community, haunted by this case for so many years, also found a sense of closure. Despite Tallot's conviction, the case of Jay and Tanya left an indelible mark. The genetic genealogy technique used to capture him became a vital tool in criminal investigations, helping solve cold cases across the country. Many other criminals were identified and brought to justice thanks to this innovative approach. Jay and Tanya's families continued to honor their memories, creating foundations in their names to help others avoid similar fates. Their story was told in books, documentaries, and TV shows, keeping alive the awareness of the dangers that still exist. For investigators, the case served as a reminder that no matter how much time passes, the pursuit of justice must never cease. Perseverance and innovation can eventually bring the truth to light, even in the darkest circumstances. And for the public, Jay and Tanya's story is a testament to the importance of never losing hope, no matter how desperate the situation may seem. With the killer imprisoned and the truth revealed, the community could finally breathe a sigh of relief. Jay and Tanya's story continues to resonate, a tragic reminder of the lurking dangers, but also proof of the power of determination and technology in the quest for justice. And so, we finally reach the end of this disturbing and intriguing journey. The story of Tanya and Jay is not just a grim reminder of the dangers lurking in the shadows, but also a powerful lesson on perseverance, technology, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Now ask yourself, how many other stories like this are waiting to be unraveled? How many mysteries remain buried, awaiting someone like you to bring the truth to light? Are you prepared to face the challenges and mysteries that life presents? How can you apply what you've learned here to protect yourself and your loved ones? Do you have the determination necessary to seek justice, no matter how long it takes? These questions not only connect you to this case, but also encourage you to reflect on your own life and safety. You probably never imagined that a simple trip could trigger such a tragic and complex series of events. But now you are armed with knowledge and awareness. Use this to be more vigilant, more prepared, and perhaps even to help solve mysteries that others have given up on. If you felt involved in this story, if it awakened a desire in you to know more, then subscribe to our channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the upcoming cases we will explore. Each story is an opportunity to learn, a chance to be better prepared for the unexpected. Join the discussion in the comments. What would you do if you were in the shoes of Tanya and Jay's families? How do you think technology can continue to help solve old cases? Your opinion is important and can inspire others. Don't forget, The truth may be waiting to be discovered, and you could be the key to uncovering it. Stay with us on this journey of suspense and revelation, and together, we'll be part of a safer and more just world. Until the next story, welcome to Spooky Stories. I'm Milo, your guide through the chilling and the unknown. Here, we dive into terrifying tales that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Join our community of thrill seekers, and let's explore the darkness together. Meet Sarah. Like many of us, she used to dread bedtime. Hours spent tossing and turning, waking up groggy and irritable, and worst of all, her relentless snoring that not only disturbed her sleep, but her partner's as well. Desperate for a solution, Sarah tried everything. New mattresses, white noise machines, even sleeping pills. Nothing worked until she discovered our breathing for sleep routine. One particularly frustrating night, Sarah stumbled upon an article about the power of breathing to improve sleep. Skeptical but willing to try anything, she read about our breathing for sleep routine, a simple, scientifically backed method designed to clear sinuses, enhance breathing, and eliminate oxygen blockades. It promised to guide users through a simple breathing routine for the best sleep of their lives. Intrigued, she decided to give it a shot. As she began the routine, Sarah immediately felt her sinuses clear. She followed the step-by-step guide, learning how to breathe deeply and correctly. Within minutes, she noticed a significant difference. Her breathing was smoother, more relaxed. That night, she fell asleep faster than she had in years and, incredibly, stayed asleep all night. One of the most astonishing benefits was the end of her snoring. The routine included a simple breathing hack that stopped her snoring in minutes. Sarah learned that her habit of mouth breathing was activating her survival mode, preventing her from achieving truly restful sleep. By switching to nasal breathing, she deactivated this mode and allowed her body to fully relax. The next morning, Sarah woke up feeling refreshed and rejuvenated. She couldn't remember the last time she felt so well rested. Her partner noticed the difference too. No more middle-of-the-night disruptions from her snoring. The transformation was remarkable, and Sarah knew she had found something special. Sarah's story is not unique. Many others have discovered the life-changing benefits of our breathing for sleep routine. Imagine falling asleep quickly, sleeping soundly through the night, and waking up feeling fully rested. No more snoring, no more grogginess, just deep, restorative sleep. Are you ready to transform your sleep like Sarah did? Our breathing for sleep routine is easy to follow and starts working immediately. Clear your sinuses, enhance your breathing, and remove oxygen blockades with our guided routine. Say goodbye to snoring and hello to the best sleep of your life. Check out the link for this wonder in the description and the comments.